Y'all, Wizard101 just dropped a brand new update, and today we need to talk about the most massive, most game-changing part of this update. There's a brand new feature in the game, something we've never seen before. We officially now have badge rewards that drop spellements, and not just any ordinary spellements, Aquila Spellment. And this is super relevant because Aquila has not been short of controversy, and it's mainly tied to how inaccessible the spells and the spellements from this world are. So I've actually been farming a little bit, so I thought I'd go through these new badges, look at what they actually drop, talk about how this affects the game. But basically, right, if you open up your badges, there are 4 new badges that drop new rewards, and this is like a type of reward we've never seen, Spellement. If you defeat Zeus in Mount Olympus 35 times, Poseidon in Atlantia 20 times, Hades in Tartarus 20 times, and also Sisyphus 15 times. This is a new boss that they added this summer in Aquila. These drop spellements now. Now, you don't have to do challenge mode. You could just do the standard mode that we've had in the game for as long as Aquila's been out. And I've actually done a couple of these. I'm claiming it right now because I've defeated Sisyphus 15 times. If I claim it, I know it said, like, you know, Fire of Mars, but it does drop 35 Saturn's Reaping. Now, I am on a myth. This is a big deal because Saturn's Reaping is a myth spell. With that badge alone, now I am able to upgrade all the way to tier 4. And this is something that I would not have been able to do without a few more hours of farming. I've also defeated Hades 20 times. Once again, even though it says Fires of Mars, this looks like it drops school-specific spellments, but when I claim this, yet another 45 spellements. Absolutely crazy. For something that honestly doesn't actually take that long, especially if you even run this as a max. Defeating Hades 20 times, that's something I might have actually already have done on this wizard before this update even dropped, as far as I can tell. Now, the other 2 badges, I'm gonna assume they drop around 30 to 50 spellements, which really puts a grand total from just doing bosses, not actually counting the spellments you get from them, access to probably about 150 to 160 extra spellment. Now, this is really cool because I feel like if you want to take full advantage of this, what you could actually do is level scale down to 30 for Mount Olympus, down to level 70 for Atlantia, run it up with some friends, and you could basically farm for the actual badge while also getting spellements for level scaling. It's probably the first time in a while where you would actually go into Mount Olympus with people and actually want to keep farming it for a guaranteed reward. Now, it is important to realize that let's say that you want to max tier one of these, it is going to take you about 720 spellments if you count the 35 that you need to learn it. Right, it's 35 to learn it, 685 to max tier it. So even if you do all of these badges, you're probably going to get closer to like maybe 20% of the way there. That's probably the way they've designed it, but that probably gets you without any extra drops at all to tier 2, and then like a good bit of the way there to tier 3, which in my opinion is all you need to really experience the full benefits of the spell, other than just being able to just clear the bosses and get guaranteed spellments as a reward for a certain number of defeats. Other than that just being a good feature, I think this is really, really important because Aquila is something that they've never done, which is that they've gone back and revamped the side world. And because they tied one new spell for every single school to this side world, they basically had to find a new way to value a whole set of spellements. Why is that relevant? Because there's a lot of side worlds in Wizard101 that I'm gonna assume they're gonna be doing this to, or even side dungeons, right? We have things like Darkmoor, things like the Catacombs. If they ever go back there and, you know, either add spellements that we can get like they did with Aquila, or maybe even like, you know, make spellements drop like in the case of the Darkmoor spellements that we already have in the game, right? Those are probably going to be valued at the same as Aquila spellements, right? They're not lore spellements, they're not main storyline spellements, they're side world spellements. And I think before this update, the way they were valued was horrendous, right? It was almost actually hard to just learn the spells, let alone upgrade them. And I think for a lot of people, they were worried because it is confirmed that Darkmoor is the next world, considering that we already have a whole spell from Darkmoor, right? We have things like Mystic Colossus and spells like this for every single school. Considering these already exist, I don't think it's beyond like the realm of crazy to assume that we're gonna get 5 tiers of all of these, and we're gonna be able to farm those from a revamped version of Darkmoor. Now, what I think will probably happen is they're probably gonna tie badge rewards to completing part 1, part 2, and part 3 of Darkmoor, and those will come with badges where you can get like 150 spellements just for doing those. And then if you level scale and farm them, you can get a bunch of spellements passively along the way. It should be, in my opinion, without packs, without paying a whole lot of extra, it should be pretty easy to get spells like these, right? Valued in their own way to tier 3 without too much extra effort. Now, what's weird to me is that there is a more challenging version of these badges that you could only ever do by doing like challenge mode. And what's so weird is that they also did tie badge rewards to these, but they're only like gold keys, and normally it's because you just did it for the first time, right? If you do challenge mode of any of the Aquila dungeons or Sisyphus, you get like 1 gold key. I really feel like they should add spellments to these as well, so we can get to like tier 3 or tier 4 even guaranteed by fully completing all the badges. It is not easy to do challenge mode so many times so you get all the badges that are like available. Now, I'll give them credit. There is a reason to actually do like, you know, challenge mode or even standard mode a lot. It actually gives you the ability to use the reagents that drop here to like just craft anything. For example, right, for that Hades badge, any drop from Hades, if I have 160 dust, which drops like a lot, right? I could craft any of this. It is a nice passive ability, and they also tied some really cool like armor, like this little mask of the Oracle, right? Like the vestment of the Oracle, all of this. They've added this for earning all the challenge mode bosses. They kind of did this with Salinopolis too. It looks really cool, don't get me wrong, but I feel like you could get a lot more people interested if either these drop spellments, or if they want to do something different for challenge mode, maybe they could drop a whole lot of spellments for your school, but they don't have to be tied to the world. Maybe like lore spellments. Right, I'd love to see that, because now that we're actually seeing spellments drop for doing standard mode, I'd love to see better rewards for doing challenge mode. Shouldn't that be the point? I think if they do that, a lot more people will interact with challenge mode, and I don't think the importance of something like challenge mode should be understated. I don't blame you if you don't know what challenge mode is. It's like a feature that you could basically do, right? Before you even enter a sigil, you could set it to challenge, go in, the sigil turns red, and then you could do this with some restrictions. But the restrictions aren't worth the amount of time you lose farming a dungeon compared to just going in with even 1 max level or just a bunch of max levels and just spamming AoEs, right? There's no burst heals and chance or even traditional AoEs allowed in challenge mode, and it seems like for doing it with that many restrictions, you don't really get much in return. And because people don't like the inconvenience of challenge mode, they don't bother using things like bottom pat spellment, scaled gear, you know, like they don't really interact with any of that. And what that ends up doing is they don't end up drifting into more complicated stuff, right? Like PvP and raid. I feel like there's a real pathway that you can take from a casual player to more, and challenge mode is kind of placed in the middle of it, but there's no incentive to get involved, even if it is something you might actually like. So this, in my opinion, huge W change. The fact that these actually drop school-specific spellments. If you have 7 wizards, you could get 160 spellments on each specific to that wizard school. Even packs aren't that good. Even the packs that drop this don't give you spellments based on your school. So really W update. If y'all have had no reason to interact with the Aquila update, now is the time. This honestly doesn't even take long, and you could do it without level scaling, which is a big deal. And if you do that in combination with level scaled farming sessions with people, maybe throwing in the chest during second chance chest benefit, like the free one, if you do all of that, it's much more realistic to max out these spellments than ever before. Really W update. Really cool new feature that I hope we see in the Darkmoor update as well, especially if we are gonna get Darkmoor Spellment. But let me know what you guys think of this. Does this give you guys a reason to interact with Aquila, and how do y'all think they should do this little new feature, right? Spellments dropping with badge rewards with other spellments in the game. Would y'all like to see this with storyline spellies, lore spellies that we haven't even seen yet? I look forward to reading all of y'all's thoughts. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new, and as always, if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah.